Hello everybody, my name is Steven and today I'm going to show you how to set up the CRWeld robot, and I'm going to give you an overview of the different components of this system. To begin the setup process, we need a sturdy table. So in my case I have a welding table. So at the moment I'm going to go ahead and place the robot somewhere towards the center of this table, and that will allow the robot to reach several different areas of this table. Now that we have the robot securely bolted to our welding table, let's take a look at some of the components that come with the CRWeld system. So the first component we'll look at is the control box. This control box contains the power supply as well as the controls for operating the CRWeld system. So this control box on one side has 4 connectors that allows it to interface with the different components. And then on the opposing side, it has the AC input plug as well as the AC input switch. And on top of our Pelican case, we have an e-stop and the 2 fans. The next component we'll look at is the job controller. So the job controller is a small box that allows the user and operator to control different functions of the robot. And of course here we have the robot itself. And this robot is outfitted with a joystick on one side, which allows for fine positioning of the robot. And then on this side we have the end effector, which is where we're going to mount the torch. So now that we've taken a quick look at the different components of the robot, let's start assembling the system. So the first thing we'll do is we'll get our control case and we'll place it underneath our table so that it is out of the way of our welding area. All cables will be routed into the control box from the top of the table to down below. So let's begin with the main robot cable. So this cable takes power from the control box and sends it to the robot. You'll recognize this cable as being a 12-pin connector, and it has 3 large pins on top. This cable plugs into the back of the robot and will get routed down to the control box. These connectors get pressed in, and then the outer shell gets rotated to lock it in place, and it will snap when it is securely fastened. Now I'm going to route the robot cable underneath the table and plug it into the control box. The 12-pin robot connector is plugged into the last plug towards the back of the control case. Again, I will rotate and twist until it snaps. The next cable we're going to connect is the cable that connects the job controller to the control box under the table. This cable is a 19-pin connector cable and has the same connection on each side. So to begin, we will take the 19-pin connection and plug it into the back of the job controller. Again, we press and then twist until it clicks. I will then route the cable underneath the table. And I will plug this 19-pin connector into the 3rd connector towards the back of the robot. I will twist until it clicks. So the joystick cable comes attached to the robot when you receive the robot. So I'm going to go ahead and route it under the table. And I'm going to plug in this 9-pin connector into the 2nd connection on the control box. So the weld contactor cable has a 4-pin connector, and then on the other end it has a connection compatible with whichever power supply you have. For now, I'm just going to plug in the 4-pin connector to the control box, and I'm going to leave the cable under the table until we decide to plug it into our welding power supply. The last cable we have is the AC power cable. So this is a 3-prong 110 AC cable that you can plug into a wall socket. This will get plugged into the opposing side of the control box next to the switch. And then of course the other side gets plugged into a wall socket or extension cord. Now that we've made all the connections going from the control box to the other components of the system, and we've plugged in our control box to the AC outlet, we're ready to power on the system, which we'll talk about in more detail in the next video.